the beginning of the new year is a time for New Year's resolutions, and I hope you've had some time to reflect about some things you'd like to change in this new year coming up. I want to get thin. I don't want to be chubby, so I am going to try to incorporate more healthy meals into my cooking. I know I've done a few, but not quite enough, so I am going to do that. That's my promise to you guys out there, that we're going to, I can do this. I can make really yummy food and have it a little bit lighter than what I've been making it. So I'm going to try that. But today's not the day. Today is for all you carnivores out there who like meat, or maybe you want to impress that special guy, or maybe guy, you're having a bunch of guys over and you want to do something really meaty. This is the program you want to watch. So, to get started, we're going to do a stuffed pork loin. And very easy to do. If you don't know how to butterfly a pork loin, you can go to Kevin at Joseph's Market and he can do it for you. I actually had them do this the other day, and you can actually, like I said, if you give them a little bit of a heads up, give them a call and say, hey Kevin, I'd like to have a butterfly pork loin, could you do that for me? They would be happy to do that. That's not always the case in most places where you get your meat. So that's one of the benefits of having a small individual attention, kind of a store for that. So Kevin would be happy to do this for you. So he's butterflied this pork loin, so it's all nice and flat, and we're going to stuff this. We're going to stuff this pork loin with some pork sausage. Then we're going to lay over it some pork bacon. And we're going to cook that all up. But the good thing is we're going to add a little spinach in there for a little health. So it'll be fun, okay, all right, it'll be good. This is a good thing. But, again, I'm using a skill here so you can stuff it with anything you want to stuff it with. I preheated my oven. I've got it on because I've got a convection oven, I'm putting it on a convection roast at 400 degrees. This is going to cook quickly. Another good tip is to bring your meat down to room temperature. That'll cook it more evenly and quicker. So don't bring it right out of the refrigerator and put it in the oven. It's going to take that much longer. Bring it down. It's nice and room temperature right now. Okay, another tip is when you're making stuffing for anything, you always want to make sure your stuffing is the same temperature as your meat. Okay, so that's what causes all those problems with stuffing and turkey and any kind of meat. If your stuffing is hot, I don't care if you're just putting it right into the oven, it causes that inner chamber there. It just causes problems. You don't want to go there. So better off. So what I did ahead of time was I got some sausage at Kevin's. He sells it in the length. They're homemade. They're lovely. And I just slit the casings down, took them out, and put them in a pan and scrambled them up. So I have some. This is a sweet Italian sausage, not the spicy kind. But you can use a spicy kind. I'm not a spicy person, so. I also had some aromatics in here, which is my onions. So I sauteed maybe a half an onion in here. Now, there's a lot of flavor just with that sausage, so I'm not going to add any more flavorings, so say to this, but I'll show you what I am going to do. I'm going to add my spinach. Now, this is frozen spinach, just a handful. This is something I keep in my freezer all the time because not only is it cost effective, okay, you get a lot more. If any of you guys, I'm sure, have cooked fresh spinach, you get a bag there, put it in your pan, and by the time you get done wilting it down, you've got a cup. So this is a lot more cost effective, and you can pull it out anytime, and there's no waste. If you only need a little piece, it crumbles it out. So try to get the spinach, frozen spinach, like it comes in a bag, so you can break it up. So I'm just going to toss this together. So we have the sausage in here, we have the spinach, and we have the onions. And again, depending on your size of your pork loin, you can put as much stuffing or as little stuffing as possible. So this is about almost a 4-pound roast. So keep that in mind. That'll feed a good amount of people. Probably we're talking at least 6 people will be able to eat out of this. Okay, so our stuffing's all set to go. We have our pork loin laying out. I'm going to put a little bit of our Greek seasoning in memory of Kevin. And this has just got a lot of pepper in it and oregano. It's how I like to use seasoned salt all the time. It's the same kind of thing, but it's got a little different flavor to it. So now you want to flavor your meat a lot because pork is not a meat that has a lot of taste to it. So it's great for adding things to it, which makes it exciting to use when you're cooking. But yeah, you definitely have to season it. So I'm going to take my stuffing and I'm going to lay it right over. You see I'm not using bread, so we're getting a little healthy here. Oh gosh. Not too thick. Okay, let me just get this all laid out here. That kind of looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay. All right, now I'm going to take the end and I'm just going to, yeah, if it doesn't slide all over my pan, I'm going to start to roll this up, okay, into a nice cylinder here. Oh, doesn't that look nice and neat? Okay, it's not going to stay like that. We have to truss it. I'm washing my hands every 5 minutes here. Okay, so I've got some butcher's twine here, and we're just going to tie up our pork loin so that all the stuffing stays in and it makes a nice cylinder shape. You don't have to be fancy, just make a little knot and we'll trim it off afterwards. I don't know if any of you got a chance to watch that new movie, Julie and Julia. I did. Oh my gosh. I'm too young. I'm not bragging about that, but I am a little too young to have really enjoyed Julia Child's show at the time. I was quite young when it was really airing. So as I've gotten older, of course, and really have enjoyed cooking, you know, I hear a lot of my, you know, these people I watch on television all the time talk about Julia and how she inspired them and how she, you know, really was the cutting edge of cooking on TV. So I said, you know, I'm gonna, you know, so I went and we got a bunch of ladies over here. We watched it, and except for a few questionable parts, it was a lovely movie. Enjoyed it very much, and I was just compelled at that point to go and get one of her cookbooks from the library because I thought, I don't know, when I saw her as a child, she seemed dry and, you know, just not interesting. But that's understandable. But I got her cookbook and I thought, well, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's just as dry. But it wasn't. It was really awesome. So, anyways, long story short, I got a lovely gift certificate for Christmas to a kitchen store online. And instead of getting more equipment, which I don't need, I ended up getting her original cookbooks, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, volumes 1 and 2. And I got a DVD of her, all her cooking. It's unbelievable. I haven't watched it all yet, but I'm watching it. She's intriguing. She was just a pioneer. I'll tell you what. I can learn so much from her. So I thought this year we could do a little bit of her recipes, some of her French cooking, probably travel around the world this year and do a lot of ethnic cooking. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Some ideas. Now I'm going to sprinkle this pork loin with some more of the Greek seasoning. Okay, all right. Look at this extra little stuffing here because that'll probably just burn. Okay, now with this pork, you're not going to want to overcook this. And if anybody saw my prime rib special, and I know a lot of you did, you've probably already gone out and gotten yourself a digital thermometer. So this is going to work. This is another reason why it's a great investment because you don't want to overcook the pork and you don't want to undercook it either because you've got stuffing in there. So I'm going to take my digital thermometer and I'm going to place it halfway right into the middle of the meat. Okay, so that's going to perfect where it's going to be the thickest and won't cook quite as fast as the ends. All right, I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to put this in the oven. Like I said, we have it 400 degrees, so it's registering 375, but it's 400 degrees. But the convection, you go down 25, oven goes 25 degrees down from that. And this will be ready to take out at 150 degrees, this pork roast, and then we're going to let it rest. And I'm thinking, but you know, all meat is not the same. I'm thinking that this is going to take about an hour to hour and a half. We'll see with the convection. I don't think I've ever done a pork roast with the convection oven, and that does speed things up. So we'll see, and I'll let you know by the end of this program how long it actually took. But that's it for that. So that's one thing down. Now, if you combine all of your, if you make your stuffing and you make your pork roast, if it's all cold, you can actually stuff it and put it in your refrigerator. Oh my gosh! Did anybody catch me here? What am I forgetting? Anybody want to wager a guess? Where's the bacon? Gotta have the bacon. Now, this is, I will also tell you that Kevin loves to make these ahead of time. You can go right into the store and buy a pork roast just like this, ready to cook. He stuffs it for you, seasons it for you, and even covers it with bacon. So I was like, wow. So if you don't want to make your own, you can go in and ask them for one of their already made up ones. All you have to do is pop it in the oven, literally. So look at that. Now this bacon also is going to form a nice protective layer. It's going to add a little bit more fat. No, a little bit more juice to this. It's too hot. Yes, it'll just give it that much more flavor. It'll get nice and crispy on top. All right. Now we can forget about it. All right, now for a side dish I thought would be fun is do a roasted carrots and parsnips. Now, if anybody doesn't know what a parsnip is, I know you know what a carrot is, but a parsnip is similar to a carrot, actually, and it's got kind of a little bit more of a bite to it. They're actually very yummy. Where did I put my vegetable peeler? Anybody seen it? Here it is. All right. So you peel the parsnips just like you would your carrots. Okay, they're nice and white. That adds a little different dimension in color too. But they cook up at the same time as the carrots, so that's nice. You could actually add turnip to this too if you wanted to. I've done that before. Yeah, with this particular meal, this is a comfort meal, but also the parsnips and carrots are going to be your other side to this. So you could just serve your pork loin, with your nice side of carrots and parsnips roasted in the oven, and that'll be plenty for anybody, and you don't have to feel as guilty as you could. Get these all peeled. I apologize to some of you people who have emailed me, and I don't have some of my recipes on the website, and I will be taking care of that. My New Year's resolution is to get those recipes on in a timely fashion. I hate typing. I hate making recipes, writing them down. That's my downfall, but I will work on it. Now these can be done ahead of time too. If you were cooking ahead, you could do this ahead of time and keep these in some cold water so they don't turn brown on you. And you could boil these and make a beautiful carrot and parsnip mash. That would be lovely, but we're going to roast these. We already got the oven going. We're roasting the pork, so I thought I might as well throw the vegetables in there too. And that makes a really nice browning and gives it a totally different flavor. It's very sweet. Then I was into Joseph's getting chicken and all that stuff, and he had a heck of a deal on apples, so we have tons of apples. So and this is a good thing because sometimes you can find like in quick sale bins, vegetables and stuff that they're not gone, but they're on their way. You can save a lot of money by buying those and looking out for that because you have to be willing to use them right off and stop whatever you're planning on doing. I'm going to get a bigger knife here. These are very chunky. You get a bowl. Put our little scraps in. Rabbit will love these. Okay. And the smaller end of the parsnip, you don't have to split in half because it's just these bigger ends. Just cut the tip off, cut it in half, and then cut this thick half in half. And then lay them right there, and then just rock your knife. The smaller you make them, the quicker they'll cook. I'm not in a real huge rush because of my pork loin being in there, so I can just... This will take about 30 minutes or so. So you can, gauge your time and have these come right out just in time for your pork roast, or you can just cook them up ahead of time and then just slightly warm them before you're going to serve them, which would be fine too. Cut it in half. Yeah, so a lot of you have emailed me, and I'm glad you have emailed me. I will take some suggestions if you have any ideas for upcoming shows. I will be filming some shows at Uncle Dean's coming up. So you can look on the website for that, for upcoming shows. And those are live, so you can actually sign up to register and come. See me up close and personal, you poor little thing. I don't know why you want to do that. Hey, bring your family, have some popcorn. It's comedy night. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I'm just suggesting. You don't have to bring your family. I know it'll probably shock them for life. They'll go, Mommy, why'd you bring me there? But it's free food. We're going to start a whole series on cooking on a budget, cooking healthier. Like I said, that's really, if I'm going to continue into this lifestyle of cooking for everybody, I am going to have to do something, or else I'm going to be as big as a house. So I need to incorporate some of these ideas, and hey, it's a quest for me. I can definitely eat healthier. I can definitely cut back on those cream sauces, although occasionally we're going to throw them in there because we need to. It's not about deprivation. It's about just being a little more conscientious. Okay, that of this. All right. So I've got a sheet pan here. I'm going to just put them all onto our sheet pan. Okay, and I'm going to cut up a little onion just for some flavor, and these are big chunks. Whoa, I think we have a little jumper there, but that's okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, little oil. I use canola. And I just want to get these coated nicely. And salt. And you want to season that well. And some pepper. And some bacon. No, just kidding. We're not putting bacon on here. Okay, so you just want to toss this lightly. Okay. I just want to get a nice even layer so they cook and brown nicely. Okay. Wash my hands. And we could pop these right in the oven with our pork roast. Utilize the sticks. Oh, it's already bubbling. Okay. So that's it for that. Now, I didn't really give you a rundown of what we're making, but we have 3 items on the menu today. So we have the pork roast, we have the carrot and parsnip roasted vegetables, and because I have so many yummy apples here crying for some reason to exist. Now there's several things you can do, especially with apples that are starting to get brown on you. Make some applesauce. I invested in a mill, and you can just put in the apples, just cook them, soften them up a little bit in boiling water. You don't have to peel them, core them, or anything. And I just put them through this mill so I can make fresh applesauce, which is my plan this week, is to use up some of these apples and do that. I'll make some apple cake, and I thought I could make a nice apple pie in my skillet. It's a really easy apple pie that will be fun and hopefully easy. So what I did ahead of time, because you guys don't need to see me peeling a zillion apples, these are, oh gosh, how many apples did I do? I must have been 5, maybe 5 apples. Again, it's whatever you're filling up. This is a huge amount, but I'm putting it in a big skillet right here. So I'm going to turn the burner on. Okay, and get that up and high here. And I'm going to start the cooking process. Now this is going to be a really quick dessert because I'm going to cook the apples almost soft right in the skillet. Then I'm going to put my crust right on top and stick it in the oven. It's a really quick dessert. So I'm going to put some in the microwave and get these cooking just a little bit. Okay, so while that's doing that, I'm going to clean up a little bit and take a little break, and then we'll meet back here and we'll continue our apple pie. Okay, we're back now. My apples just came out of the microwave. They're nice and soft. I'm going to put them in our skillet here, which I've got just a tiny bit of oil in, and I'm going to add some butter. That's also going to help the apples have a nice little thick sauce once it gets in the pan here, and once we put it into the oven. Okay, so here are our apples. Just going to plop them in. Now, one little trick, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, but if you're going to make your apples up ahead of time, make sure you add a little lemon juice, or even orange juice if you wanted to, into your apples, and that'll keep them from browning. Okay, so we're just going to let these just hang out for a little while. They're already very soft. This this dessert will be cooked really fast. It's a matter of the crust. Okay, one thing I do want to check before we go any further, though, is we need to turn over our vegetables, because it's about halfway through the browning time. Ooh, don't they look beautiful? Okay, so we're just going to turn them over. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. Ugh. My husband, this is one of his favorite things, is just root vegetables, a nice roast chicken with roasted vegetables. Loves it. These look lovely and yummy. Okay. Wow. They're just about done. And our pork roast is just roasting away here, and the bacon is getting crispy. Okay. So back to our apples. So they're sizzling away here. And like I said, we're not browning them. Just want to cook them a little bit more, not much. Now I'm going to add some cinnamon sugar. Now my daughter likes cinnamon sugar on her toast. So I just have a little shaker here. It's got cinnamon sugar already in it. So I'm just going to shake it over my apples. And these apples are really, really sweet. And because they're older and they need to be used, they're really concentrated. So there we go. Oh my gosh, it smells good. Okay, so just mix these around. Okay. All right, let that just sit there for a second. Now I'm going to preheat my oven. To 425, because this is, like I said, we're not, usually you would do an apple pie, you start out in a really hot oven to get that crust sealed. Then you drop it down and you cook it at 350 for another hour or so. Because our apples are already cooked and soft, all we have to do is brown the crust, so that's good. Let me get my some dough that I got out, made up earlier this morning, and I have it refrigerating. You can use whatever pie crust you have, your favorite recipe or whatever, or you can buy the already made pie crust. You can unroll it. This puppy is really cold. Okay, let me get this off for just a second. And we're going sprinkle our countertop with some flour. And I'll get my handy dandy rolling pin / weapon. And the secret to pie crust, don't you give me a hard time, is not playing with it too much. Just mixing it just till it barely comes together, and then chilling it cold as well, because when it's all nice and cold, when it hits that oven, that butter's going to start to evaporate. It's in the little pockets of the crust, and it's going to cause that flakiness to happen. This crust is giving me a hard time here, but that's okay. It's rustic. This is a rustic dessert along with our rustic pork, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And if it sticks a little bit, just flour your rolling pin a little bit. Okay, so let me, knife. All right, the front of me is already full of flour. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit of this because we don't need as much crust. This is a pretty, okay. Let's turn this off. And then easy way to do this is to pick up your crust. It's going to come up, oh, you little. Be patient with your crust, okay? Has you ever handled dough before you're thinking to yourself? Okay, hold on. Okay, it's really giving me a hard time. That's not good. All right, we're clearing out the big guys here. I didn't put enough flour down, that was the problem. Then you gotta make sure you put enough flour. Yeah, so this is like a funny looking pie crust, but that's all right. We don't mind. I'm just gonna lay it right over your apples. And like I said, this is a very rustic pie. There's no fancy schmancy about this. You don't have to make a little crimping crust. If you start crimping around here, you got to burn your fingers. So really, you're laying the crust right on to your apples. I love this. This is going to be fun. You take it right out of the oven, right to the table. Okay, let's see if I can piece some of this back together. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this will be nice. Okay, so I'm going to get an egg, do an egg wash. And an egg wash causes the crust to be nice and browned. Here's our cute little chicken eggs. Look, we've got a variety of little chickens going on here. They all have their own little shapes. Because some of you who don't know, we have our own chickens. My daughter raises them, and we can tell who laid what egg. And one chicken has freckles on her eggs. They're round, they're just perfectly round. Look at this freckle on this one. Can you see that? Can you see that? A freckle? It's adorable. It's just what she lays. I don't know. It's very strange. They have a need to be different, I guess. All right. So an egg wash. And we'll get a fork. I should have had all this stuff out ahead of time, but I do have a life. Okay, we're here, we're fine, okay. So beat the egg, you add a little, just a tiny bit of water, and it makes a really nice crust. Okay, take your little brush, and you're going to brush the top of your pie. I love the look of this. I do. I love the rustic look of this. It's just very homey, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do it. You don't have to go to a gourmet cooking school, anything like that. Okay, so there's the egg wash. Now, just for some fun, I have these cute little cookie cutters. Let me get this out of here. Yeah, I did have a cookie cutter. Oh, here it is. Because it's apple pie, I have these cute little apple cutouts. So you can take your extra crust and you can cut out cute little apples to go on top of your pie to make it very pretty. You can just form them around, and we've got all different kinds of shapes. And it's fun just to make that little decorative touch. It doesn't take much. And the egg wash is going to hold them on there. And we'll do one more. Oh! Okay, maybe not. This crust was giving me a hard time. Okay. There. Beautiful. All right, then we'll just lightly brush those. And we'll cut some vents in our pie. It's gonna be, can't take it. All right. So let me just bend this up a little bit so you can see how rustic and chunky this is. And isn't that lovely? Little apple pieces on top. Make sure there's a little crust here. All right, this is gonna go right into the oven. Again, at 425, we just want to brown that crust up really quick. Okay, again, we're going to take another break because I got to clean up this whatever happened here on my counter. So we'll be back in a few minutes and we'll finish this up. Okay, we're back. The vegetables just came out of the oven. They look yummy. Look at them, all nice and crunchy and brown. And our roast is just about done also. We'll be taking that out in a few minutes and letting that rest. And our apple rustic pie, I can smell that. That means that's coming out of the oven too. So I'm just going to plate up our vegetables. And these are actually very good, even room temperature. They do not have to be cut. These are just lovely. These would be great for those of you who are watching our weights. You could take these to work with you and not have to worry about even refrigerating them, really. They'd be just nice to munch on, put them in a little Tupperware container. Can I say that? Plastic container. And then take them to work with you for a nice healthy snack. All right, so those are our vegetables. And we're going to take out our apple pie because I can smell it. And oh my gosh, it smells lovely. Oh, is that a work of art or what? No, not really, because you saw me putting it together. But it looks beautiful. It's just rustic and it smells so good. And my children are going to be running in here any minute now, chomping at the bit. So I'm going to just put this back on the stove just so it can cool down because I can't sample it. I'm going to burn my lips at the same time. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, put it back over here, let it cool down just a tad. Actually, you know what I might do? Open my window because and we'll put it right up here on the windowsill and let it cool. Ooh, and that'll get the smell really wafting through the house. We have a wood boiler this time of year, so it gets so hot in here. It's like, help me. I have to open up windows, doors, give me some air. Okay, so that's done. And our pork roast is done. It's at 151. Beautiful. Let me unplug it, turn it off. Ah, looks lovely. Ooh, 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 ooh. Can you hear that sizzling sound? Okay, so I'm going to pull out the probe. All right, now I'm going to put this on a plate to let it rest. And we're going to use some of the pan debris, juices, and we're going to make ourselves a little quick gravy. Not that we need it, but I think it'd be kind of fun to do. Let me get, do I have a spatula right here? I'll get this. Oh, beautiful, lovely roast. The bacon's nice and perfect. Okay, now you have a lot of fat in here. Okay, I don't want the fat. I want all this yummy brown stuff. So I'm going to get a bowl here and pour off the fat. Now, chicken gravy, beef gravy are it's pretty simple to make because you get a lot of the juices. Pork doesn't produce a lot of juices. It's got a lot of, quite a bit of fat in there. We don't want that. But we do want all this lovely brown stuff. So what we're going to do is try to deglaze this just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of water to our pan and see if we can't get some bits up here, because this is really good for making your flavorful sauce. Now, Kevin, if you've ever been to Joseph, has an extensive display of marinades and sauces and gravy packets. I mean, it's just incredible. I've never seen so many. But it's great because you're standing there at the meat counter and you're going, okay, what do I do? And there's a zillion things out there already ready for you. All you got to do is rip open the pouch and the marinade's all there for you. So for those of you who are just not interested in formulating your own or whatever, or just busy, those are a great way to really spice up and quickly get things together on the table. So I'm going to pour this in a little pan here, and that's going to add to our gravy. Okay. There. Oh, that lovely sauce. That's really not enough to make enough of a gravy. So what I'm going to do is I got a little packet of pork gravy. Now, these are really simple because all you do is rip the packet open, pour it in a cup, and add some hot water to it. Okay, so for this packet, you're just going to add a cup of hot water. Now, we already have some of the juices, which is great because that's really going to concentrate that flavor. So we only need to add probably 3/4 of a cup of water to this gravy mix. Now you could, if you don't want to deal with the, pan drippings or anything like that, you can just make the gravy all separate by yourself. You can make this up a day ahead of time and then just warm it up at the end. So you're just going to combine this until it's smooth. And this is just going to come up to a boil, really, and it's going to just thicken that quickly. It's already got everything you need in here. You don't need anything else. I'm going to pour that into our pan here. And I'm going to need a whisk to get this all in there. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, so we'll get a whisk. Just whisk that around. It's only going to take a couple minutes. Once this comes to a boil, the thickening power will take effect and the gravy will be ready. It's that quick. And boy, it's going to add just a nice depth of flavor having those pan drippings in with your gravy package itself. So how quick and easy was that? And you don't even need to have gravy with this. It's just so full of flavor, but it's nice to have just in case, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we let our meat rest a little bit here. I'm going to take it and we're going to just move it onto my cutting board. Smells so good. And let me see. I'm going to take the string and cut that off. Loosen the meat from its bonds. Oh, okay, this is bubbling, and it's that quick. It's nice and thick, and we have our gravy that quick. Okay, so I'm going to turn that right off. And that's done. Really quick gravy. And you also, on the other shows, you've seen me make, I had stuffed pork chops, and I had a nice, like a chutney glaze on top. You can do a nice glaze on this. But again, you got a lot of flavors going on. I don't think I'd want to just do too much. Okay. 2 more. I'm dying to taste this. So is my family. They're waiting in the rears. Oh. Okay, I know there's one more here. I think the meat tried to eat the rope. It just absorbed it. Okay, there it is. Okay. Is that a piece of bacon? Just want to try it, make sure it's safe. Okay. Oh, there's another piece of bacon. All right. Wow. Look at that. Is that gorgeous and sumptuous or what? All right. This is always nice to serve on a beautiful white or cream platter. Now you don't want to cut this too thin or else your filling's not going to stay in. Oh my gosh, that's perfectly done. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Not overcooked, nice and juicy. The filling has stayed in. Everybody gets a little piece of bacon. Oh my gosh. This is so yummy. Look at that. Wow. That is quite impressive, guys. I don't know. I'm impressed with my big bad self. And like I said, you could do this yourself. You saw how easy it was, or you can have Kevin the boys do it and have them get us all ready. And all you have to do is bake it off. So. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Can you take a look at that? It's beautiful. My gosh, somebody squeeze me. Okay. I don't want to get squeezed. I'm just kidding. Okay. And then we'll just drizzle a little bit of the gravy over the top just for a little color. Ooh, you want to come to my house, don't you? You want to have supper, don't you? Too bad. Oh my gosh, that's really looks really good. Okay, now I need to get a plate for myself because you know what time it is. Sample, sample. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, maybe I should just get these little leftover crumbs on here. We don't want to waste them, do we? I'll just put them on my plate. Oh, okay. And a little gravy over the top will be nice. And then, where's my little spoon? And then we have our roasted parsnips and carrots to sample. That'll be fun. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. This is going to be absolutely yummy. Let me, oh! Don't want to have a little piece of bacon on my bite here. Oh my gosh. This is really good. Mmm. Okay, I don't think I got enough filling the first bite, so I'm going to try another bite and go in and get some more stuffing. Oh my gosh. This is really good, guys. I scared myself. It's delicious. It's delicious. You need to try this. Very, very good. Okay, one more carrot. Okay, I can eat this later. I'm sorry. I'm making you guys drool. Oh, this is so good. So really, you guys need to try this. Okay, let me move this messy thing out of the way. Put this back on the... Okay. Move our pork out a little bit. Let's pick up our mess. A little bit. Okay. And we'll get our apple. Rustic apple pie off the shelf. This is really going to be good. Now I'll tell you, I'm not a big apple pie fan, but that's because I choked on a stem as a child. It was in a pie. I wasn't safe even in the pie. Serving you spatula here. Okay. What part of the pie do I want to cut into? I could do the part that I had to piece together. That would be the nicest thing. As a hostess, you should take the funniest looking piece. Really. That would be nice of me to do that. Oh my gosh. I wish I had smelling salt. I think I'm going to pass out. I'm kidding, but I think I'm... Ooh. Oh, my love. Why do you hate me? This is beautiful. Look at it, just look how much it just thickened right up. It's nice and, you know, one of those things with apple pie. You don't want them too juicy. You don't want them too dry. This is perfect. Now, a little trick that I taught you guys on an earlier show, but you probably don't remember it now, is the famous lovely dessert sauce, creme anglaise, is a lovely sauce. And it's not hard to make at all, but if you don't have time to make it or don't have a desire, you can have it very quickly with a good quality ice cream. Same thing, it's like a custard. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of this creme anglaise, which is our melted ice cream, over the top of our... Ooh! Does this need whipped cream? I don't know. I'm going to take a bite of it first, then I'll tell you if it needs whipped cream. And then we might have to get some. Oh my gosh. I'm a crust person. I'd rather just eat the crust. Leave the apples behind. Oh my gosh. As much of a hard time as that crust gave me, and it was because it was just, I didn't, you know, make it too wet. This crust is amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is just delicious. And how doable was all of this, okay? I don't know. I want to thank Kevin at Joseph's Market, all the guys down there supplying the food, also Uncle Dean's Good Groceries, also supplying my spices and herbs and things that I use also. Couldn't do them. I actually got the parsnips at Uncle Dean's. All organically grown, local, and all of that. Try this meal. I'm going to get this recipe on our website, so you can go to CATV, centralmaincatv.com, and get the recipes, and I promise I'll have them out within a week. I promise. So try this, and until we meet again, I want you to feed somebody, but we're going to start eating healthier. Okay, so enjoy this meal now, because when I get back to you, we're going to start slimming those calories off. So I mean it, okay? So until we see each other.